Hello again, everyone. This is Gary, Kilo 4 Golf Charlie, here in the shack by the track with another video related to amateur radio. I've been in and out of the hobby several times since first becoming licensed in 2004, and I learned something new about amateur radio in general and about my radios in particular and the related software I use to operate them nearly every day. The purpose of my videos is to share some of that knowledge, and I'm new to this video editing thing too. Hopefully that skill will improve over time. As always, I'm not necessarily showing you how something should be done. I'm showing you how I did it, usually through trial and error, why I did it, and what works for me, or perhaps what did not work for me. If you think I got something wrong or left something out, I want to know. So let's get started. Someone asked on one of the OMISS nets the other night how to generate a worked all states report from Netlogger, which is the logging application that most people use on the OMISS nets because it lets you keep track of who's logged in or who's checked into the net at any given time, as well as keep track of the stations that you have worked, as well as the stations that you need on any particular net, band, or mode. But the short answer to his question is that you cannot easily generate a worked all states report from Netlogger. You'd have to export all of your contacts to an ADIF file or a CSV file and then import that into something such as Excel and then search and sort and try to generate a report that way. What I do is use DXKeeper as my main logging facility. All of my QSOs eventually end up in DXKeeper, either logging them directly into DXKeeper using the capture window if I'm just working one or two stations at a time, or I will import an ADIF file from, say, Netlogger if I'm working the OMISS nets, or from N1MM if I'm working a contest or have worked a contest, or from FLDigi, which through some gateway software that I have will automatically upload the QSO from FLDigi's log into the DXKeeper log as I make each QSO. But the topic of this video is Netlogger, so we'll stick with that. The first thing you have to do to make it work correctly from Netlogger, and that is if you want to generate a worked all states report based on the particular OMISS net that you're concerned with, is when you import the QSOs from Netlogger into DXKeeper, you have to make sure that the net name is included, or make sure that the net name is actually imported by DXKeeper and that it knows what to do with it. Here's an example of an ADIF export from Netlogger, which is what I do nearly every night that I work the OMISS nets. As soon as the nets are over, I will export that night's contacts from Netlogger into an ADIF file, which I will then import into DXKeeper. The key here is to make sure that this ADIF field right here app underscore netlogger underscore net is defined in DXKeeper so that when the ADIF record is imported, that DXKeeper knows what to do with this particular variable. App underscore netlogger underscore net. And it contains the description or the name of that particular OMISS net where that QSO was made. So we'll go over to DXKeeper here, take a look at the configuration panel under user items, and you will see that there are 8 different user definable fields that you can use for importing and exporting various customized ADIF fields. I happen to use the user-defined variable 0, and I've defined that to match the ADIF field that Netlogger uses, app underscore netlogger.net, app underscore netlogger underscore net, and it's an alphanumeric field, and it is to be included with ADIF imports and exports. So that's how you can ensure that DXKeeper knows what to do with a particular custom ADIF field. So we'll close that, and then we'll look at the config window again, and you'll notice here where I have all of the various fields defined that I want to see in my main logger window. And one of them here is the user-defined 0 variable, which again, that's the one I'm using for the net name that comes from Netlogger. I've used a short name net as the caption, and I just happen to pick that I want it to be aligned on the left side of the column. So that's how you get the actual value displayed in the DXKeeper's log window. We'll close that, and I will scroll over here to where the net names are listed, and you'll see the column NET that I used, the column heading NET that I used, and here's all the OMISS net names that are associated with those appropriate QSOs. Not everyone has a net name. Not every QSO has a net name in it, because not every QSO was from the OMISS net, but those that came over from OMISS, from the OMISS net through Netlogger, that's where their names are listed. And as far as running a report, now that the information is in the database, I will show you how I configured a particular user-defined SQL search that lets me pick the particular net that I'm interested in. You'll see when I hover over it, it provides a description of what that SQL filter contains. I'll show you the actual definition here on the advanced configuration screen. I named the SQL filter button net, NET, and gave it an SQL expression to match the DXKeeper user-defined 0 variable to be like whatever I type in the filter text box, which is right down here. And it may be hard to see, but the word filter text box is surrounded by open and closed brackets. That is surrounded by an asterisk, meaning it's a wildcard character, so it'll match basically anything before or after whatever you type in the filter text box. And then that entire search argument is surrounded by open and closed single quotes. So basically it will match if I type OMISS in the filter search box, it'll match anything containing OMISS, regardless of what characters actually precede or follow that net name. And I'll show you how the filter works. Let's say I'm interested in generating a report for the OMISS nets. I type in OMISS in the filter text box, click my net filter, gives me a listing of all the QSOs that I made on the various OMISS nets, 488 of them total. And if I want to report, I'll go to the Check Progress tab, pick the Worked All States Progress Report. It asks me if I want to remove the filter so that all QSOs are considered. No, I do not, because the only QSOs I want considered are those that have OMISS in their net name description. So I will say no to that, and it generates the Worked All States report for any QSO whose net name field is like OMISS. And there you see a nice table that tells me all the states I've worked, confirmed, or either worked or have requested or have confirmed on the various bands. And it is as simple as that. You don't necessarily have to generate a progress report on the net name either. I'll go back to the QSOs tab. Clear the filter, and let's say I wanted a report for all the PSK QSOs that I've worked. I'll use a very similar type filter that checks the mode for each QSO. We'll look at all the PSKs. Those are all my PSK 31 contacts. Go back to the Progress tab, pick the Worked All States report. No, I don't want to remove that filter because I'm only interested in PSK contacts. And there's a Worked All States report for everything I've worked PSK, which is not very many, actually. And that is basically it. That's how you generate a Worked All States report for a particular subset of all the QSOs in your DXKeeper database. Again, for Netlogger, if you're interested in the OMISS net names, the various OMISS nets, you have to make sure that the OMISS net name ADIF field, app_netlogger_net, is accounted for within DXKeeper, so that when the record is imported in, that DXKeeper knows what to do with it, knows what variable, what user-defined variable you want to assign it to, so that it then becomes searchable. That's it, folks. Thanks for watching.